We've all been there, right? That promise we make to ourselves, okay, for real this time, I'll start tomorrow. But what happens when tomorrow just keeps on being tomorrow? A place we never actually get to? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle in this explainer. We are going to break that cycle, and I'm going to give you a clear path to turn all those tomorrows into today. So if you're ready to stop putting things off and finally start doing, let's dive in.
You know, this ancient saying, it doesn't pull any punches. The habit of saying, I'll do it then, and then, can literally stretch on for so long that our time just runs out. It's a pretty stark reminder that procrastination isn't just about delaying some task on your to-do list. It's about delaying your life. The ultimate price you pay for waiting is the one thing you can never, ever get back: your time.
So, what's our game plan for breaking free? Well, first, we're going to start by really understanding the tomorrow trap itself. Then, we'll dig into the real reasons we postpone things. From there, we'll figure out how to find the engine of your motivation, your why. And then, we'll learn about the incredible power of taking tiny steps. And finally, we're going to put it all together by building a mindset that's just wired for success.
All right, first up, let's get a good look at our opponent. What exactly is this mindset of "we'll do it tomorrow"? Or, as they say in Hindi, "kal karenge"?
You know, for most of us, procrastination isn't some super complex psychological disorder. It's actually much simpler than that. It's a habit, a repeated decision. It's that little voice that says, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. But that one simple choice, when you make it over and over again, becomes the single biggest enemy of turning your dreams into reality. Now, there's a really cool story behind this slide. During the pandemic, all the flower markets were closed, so traditional garland makers couldn't get their usual roses for weddings. So did they just stop? Did they say, sorry, no perfect flowers, no business? Absolutely not. They used what they had, marigolds. They adapted. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Waiting for the perfect resources, the perfect time, the perfect gym, it's all just a trap. You've got to start right where you are with whatever you have.
Okay, so now we get what the trap is, but the real question is, why do we fall into it so darn easily? Let's move on and start uncovering some of the hidden reasons that fuel this habit of delay.
And here they are, the usual suspects. From that cozy warmth of our comfort zone to the chilling fear of what other people might think, every single one of these plays a part in keeping us stuck. We're going to focus on a few of the biggest ones here: the comfort zone, the fear of failure, and the very tricky nature of motivation. The comfort zone. It's just like that warm blanket on a cold morning. It feels so good, right? But here's the problem. That short-term pleasure is an addiction. Whether it's endlessly scrolling on your phone or just putting off a tough conversation, that immediate comfort always comes at the expense of your long-term goals. All the success and growth you want, it lives just outside that blanket.
Oh man, this one is huge. The fear of what people will say, the fear of being judged, of looking silly, it can be absolutely paralyzing. We think that to avoid the potential pain of failure, it's safer to just not act at all. But here's the thing you have to remember. Failure is just data. It's a learning experience. The real failure is letting the fear of other people's opinions write the story of your life. Whose life is it anyway? Motivation from the outside, watching a cool video or getting advice from a friend, it's great. But it's like a sparkler. It burns super bright for a second, and then poof, it's gone. Real, lasting motivation has to come from inside you. Just think of the story of Arjun, the great archer from the Mahabharata. He saw his brother Bhima eating in total darkness, just guided by muscle memory. That sparked something inside Arjun. He thought, if my brother can eat in the dark, why can't I practice archery in the dark? He took that external cue and made it an internal fire, and that's what made him a master. And this ties right into another huge cause: self-doubt. In the epic Ramamaya, the mighty Hanuman had to cross an entire ocean, but he doubted he could do it. He had literally forgotten his own incredible power. It wasn't until his friends came and reminded him of who he truly was that he regained his confidence. We're a lot like that sometimes. We have the strength, we have the power, but we've just forgotten it. And sometimes we need the right environment or the right people to help us remember. Okay, so we have spent some time digging into the problems. Now let's switch gears and start building the solution. And we're going to start with the single most important element of all: your reason for doing anything in the first place. Seriously, think about it. If you want to wake up early just because you heard it's good for you, well, that's a pretty small why. It's not going to stand a chance against that warm blanket we talked about.
But if your why is to build a business that will change your family's future, or to get healthy so you can be there for your kids, now that's a big why. A powerful why is the fuel that will drive you right through almost any obstacle.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at this famous study. So you have this graduating class. A whopping 84% had no specific goals at all. 13% had goals, but they were just in their head. And then there was this tiny group, just 3%, who had clear goals that they had actually written down. Fast forward years later, that tiny 3% was found to be 10 times more successful than the other 97% combined. Writing your goal down makes it real. It gives your why a physical form. So, what's one goal you can write down today?
Now, this is a really important distinction, so let's get this straight. When you hear people say, don't be attached to the results, they don't mean you shouldn't have a goal. Not at all. A goal is something you set before you act. It's in your control. The result, or the fruit of your action, comes after, and a lot of it is not in your control. So the key is to be absolutely attached to your goal, but be detached from the specific outcome.
Okay, so you've got your big why, you've got a clear goal written down, but you look at the task ahead and it still feels like a massive, unclimbable mountain. So how do you actually start? Well, let's see how the power of small steps can change everything. Sometimes a goal is so big that we procrastinate simply because we're overwhelmed. The solution? Make the first step so ridiculously, laughably small that you can't not do it. You don't have to run a marathon. Just put on your workout clothes. That's it. That's the win for the day. That tiny act of starting, no matter how small, is what creates momentum. Greatness always begins with a simple decision to just begin.
And this story brilliantly illustrates why we need patience. For 5 straight years, you water the seed of a Chinese bamboo tree, and you see nothing. Absolutely nothing. It would feel like such a waste of effort, right? But then, after 5 years of building this massive root system underground, it finally sprouts, and in just a few months, it shoots up 80 feet tall. Your efforts are never ever wasted. They're building a foundation that you just can't see yet. You have to trust the process.
All right, you have your why, you're taking small steps. The final piece of the puzzle, the thing that holds it all together, is your internal environment, the mindset that allows you to keep going no matter what happens.
Life is going to throw challenges at you. That's a guarantee. The game changer isn't what happens, it's how you interpret it. In Hindu mythology, the young prince Dhruva was insulted by his stepmom and denied a seat on his father's lap. He could have seen that as a crushing rejection, but instead he interpreted it as motivation. He thought, fine, if I can't sit on his lap, I will go find a kingdom greater than my father's. And he did. A setback can either be a dead end or a redirection. You are the one who gets to decide. We always wish things were easier, don't we? We want the easy path. But the truth is, struggle is essential. The butterfly's fight to break free from that cocoon is precisely what strengthens its wings for flight. If you help it by cutting the cocoon open, you've doomed it. It will never fly. Every single challenge you overcome, every difficult day you manage to push through, is building the strength you need for whatever comes next. So to wrap it all up, building that success mindset really comes down to intentional practice. It's about actively reframing your setbacks as lessons. It's consciously creating an environment that lifts you up. It's about learning to lean into discomfort, knowing that it's a signal for growth. And it's about cultivating the patience to see valuable things all the way through. And that really brings us to our final thought. Every single one of us has cocoons, our comfort zones, our fears, our excuses. And yeah, they feel safe and comfortable, but they are also cages. The entire purpose of a butterfly is not to stay safe in the cocoon, it's to break out and fly. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what is your cocoon, and what will it take for you to finally emerge?